So if we have missing pronumerals in a right angle triangle, like the ones that I've got shown here, we can use the trigonometric ratios to actually find what these values are, okay? Because these trigonometric ratios have to hold. Now, when it comes to solving these trigonometric problems, okay, we want either one, or we want two of three things. We either want two sides, okay, or we want one side and one angle. Now, in the ones that we're going to see today, okay, we're only going to have one side and one angle. The ones where we have a missing angle, or an angle that we need to find, we're going to do at another point in time. Okay, so let's have a look at these two. So finding the value of the pronumeral in the first triangle, we've got an 11 centimeter, 27 degrees, an unknown value x. And then in the other one, we've got a 38 millimeters, a 69 degrees, and an x millimeters. Okay. Now, whenever I start a trigonometric problem, regardless of how long I've been doing it for, like I've been doing trig for a long time, I always start off by writing at the top of my page, SOHCAHTOA, okay? Because this allows me to go back and remember what my trigonometric ratios are and how I can actually calculate, or what I can use to calculate each of my values. So, looking at my first triangle, part A, I'm going to start off by labeling it, okay? We start off with the hypotenuse. So the hypotenuse being that side going across the right angle. So this is my H value. The opposite side, okay, the opposite side is the side that goes across here, but because I don't know any information about this side here, I don't know anything about it, okay, I haven't been told how long it is, nor have I been asked to find anything about it, because I've been asked to find something about the other side, so I'm just going to ignore that, okay, I'm going to ignore that far hand side, which leaves me with the adjacent side, the X side, which I'm going to call my A side, okay. Now, this is my unknown side. This is the side I'm going to try and find. Now, looking at this one here, we're going to use one of our trigonometric ratios to solve the problem, okay? So we're looking for the ratio that involves adjacent and hypotenuse. So SOHCAHTOA, okay? So we're looking at the second part of each three of these. So either the OH, the AH, or the OA. And this is why I find it's important to write SOHCAHTOA on your page and to label your triangle, because you can quickly see which of these three that we're going to be using. Now, I hope you spotted that it's going to be the cosine ratio that we're going to use. So we're going to write that out. So we use the cosine. So it's going to be cosine theta is equal to the adjacent over the hypotenuse. Okay, I don't know why I'm using that green. I don't really like it. We'll go back over it with red. So the ratio is cosine theta is equal to the adjacent over the hypotenuse. Okay. So let's substitute the values that we know. Now, our theta value is our angle. So the thing that goes next to the cosine, we're going to be replacing with our angle that we know. Okay. And in this particular problem, we know that our angle is 27 degrees. So I'm going to be replacing my cosine with 27 degrees like this. My adjacent value, well, I don't know what my adjacent value is, but I'm going to replace it with the pronumeral that I'm trying to find. In this case, it's my x value. So my x goes up the top like this. Okay. Finally, my hypotenuse side is the other side that I do know. In this case, it's the 11. Okay. So now I've got a filled in trigonometric ratio. Cosine of 27 degrees is equal to x over an 11. And you can see where these numbers have come from the above diagram. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to rearrange this like it was an equation. Okay. If I was just to pretend for a moment that on the left-hand side, I just had like the number 3. Okay, you guys would know how to solve this equation. Okay. I'm hoping most of you would say, well, I'd multiply both sides by 11 and I would get 33 is equal to x, okay? Because 33 divided by 11 is equal to 3. Oops, sorry about that. The same thing occurs if we have a trigonometric ratio here as well, okay? It doesn't change because we have a cosine 27 degrees. We still do the same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to multiply both sides by 11, as if it was just an equation, okay? By doing this, on the right-hand side, I'm left with x, and on the left-hand side, I've got 11 times cos of 27 degrees, like this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my trusty calculator, and you will need your calculator to do this, because the trigonometric ratios we can't quite do in our head. Well, if you can, you know more than me, because I definitely can't do it in my head. But we're going to put this straight into our calculator. Now, you don't need to put the degrees button in if you don't want to, because your calculator will automatically pick up that if you've got the cosine, the 27, it knows it's going to be degrees. But I put it in there just for a safety measure. You do need to close your bracket off though, okay? So you must make sure you close your bracket off. You hit equals, and we get x is equal to 9.8. So in other words, the length along here has to be equal to 9.8. And that makes sense if you think about it, because the hypotenuse is the longest side in a right angle triangle. That shorter side, it must be shorter. And 9.8 does make it seem reasonable, okay? Now, just to show you quickly what would happen if we didn't have that bracket on the end of this. So if I got rid of this bracket here, oh, well, mine it works, so it might not work in your case, okay? So just keep that in mind. If you get a math error or a syntax error, I think it would be, it might not give you the answer. You might get a syntax error, and that might be the reason why. Okay. So yeah, x is equal to 9.8. Just rounded it up. Have a go at the second one now. So have a go at the second one, see if you can get it. But for those of you who'd like to do it with me, okay, we're going to start off by labeling our triangle. I might do this one in blue. So in this one, we've got a, okay, well, my hypotenuse is over this side now. So remember, it's across from the right angle, so we ignore him because there's nothing on that side. It's not a pronumeral, it's not a value. We've got an opposite, okay, because it's from across here. And we've got an adjacent because it's on this side, okay. So the one that uses opposite and adjacent, okay, so hopefully you've got SOHCAHTOA on your page. You should be able to pick it out. But it is the tan ratio. So tan theta is equal to opposite on adjacent. Now let's substitute the values we know. We know that our theta value, our known angle, or a known angle in this case, is 69 degrees, okay? Our opposite side is equal to x, and our adjacent side is equal to 38, okay, remember? We're just substituting the things we know. We don't know what that missing pronumeral side is, so I'm just replacing it with the x value for now. The 38 side I do know, so I'm putting the 38 in. Now, before we do this next step, just think to yourself, are we expecting a smaller number or a bigger number than 38? And you can probably judge this from the picture. I have made it a little bit to scale, just to make it a bit easier for you to see. But let's continue on with the next step. And I'm hoping you guys have picked the next step, which is to multiply both sides by 38, because we treat it like it's an equation. We get 38 times tan 69 degrees, which is equal to our x value, okay? And finally, that means we're going to put it into our calculator and get 38 times tan 69 degrees, which gives us 98 point. Okay, let's round it to 2 decimal places, just so I don't have to rewrite it. 98.99 and then 33, blah, 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 don't care. So there you go. So that's how we can find some unknown sides. In the next example, what we're going to do is we're going to do it, so you'll notice that the unknown side was always on the top of the fraction. In the next video, we're actually going to look at what happens if that unknown side was on the bottom. So stick around for that one, have a look at how to do those ones.